welcome to the stage. They are two-time World Cup champions. They're host of the recap show. Please welcome to the stage Tobin and Christen.
Hey everyone, what's up Kansas City? It's so awesome to see you all. Let's kind of suss this scene. I see a lot of purple. Is that right? Is this Orlando? Okay, Washington? Okay, all right. Well, Dash, okay, there we go. Anyone, the one Houston Dash. Is there anyone else Houston Dash around? Gotham? Thorns? Angel City?
There you go.
Whoa! Woo! Kansas City? KC, baby. All right.
Well, thank you all so much for walking over to this side of FanFest. I don't know if you know this, but Tobin and I have a show. We host the recap show, and when Tobin first asked me to create a show with her about women's sports, I kind of laughed in her face because I never thought that I would be the type of person to talk about sports. Growing up, I didn't actually like watching sports at all. I always loved playing sports, but I never saw the product that I saw my dad watching on the screen as for me. I didn't feel like it was built for me or for people like me from my community. And here I am, all these years later, and I can feel it in my bones that what we're building here today and every day, it is for me and it is for us. And this is an incredible, beautiful, diverse, inclusive community that we have all co-created together. I think it's amazing because it's been designed for and by women, and that's what we're trying to do with our show, with the recap show. We're trying to continue to modernize the game and to create a product for you all that is true to us, that is authentic. And Tobin really has been at the heart and soul of all of this. She is a visionary, and this is her creative genius to want to have an avenue to speak directly to all of you. So Tobin, why don't you tell everybody what this all means to you?
Well, I think just to give a story that Christen probably doesn't want me to give, but so when I first said, like, yeah, we're going to do a show, and, like, we were thinking, like, who's going to host the show? Like, we were never thinking we were going to host a show or ever be on a stage in front of FanFest doing our own show. But it was funny because eventually it was like, okay, I'm going to do this show. Like, this is going to be awesome. And Christen actually wasn't going to be any part of it. And when she says mastermind, it wasn't really like creating the show. It was somehow figuring out how to get Christen Press on the show. So I basically was like, I'm going to create like major FOMO, right? I'm like not even going to mention like her even participating in the show. So as the World Cup started and got closer and closer, you know, the energy, everyone got excited about it. I was excited about it. And then all of a sudden, you know, she crept up and she said, well, what's going to be my part on the show? Like a true number 9, she was ready to score her goal. And that is how I got my co-host to be on the show. So for all Christen Press fans here, you're welcome. You're welcome. But on the recap show, what we want to do is obviously reimagine the way women are seen and experienced in sports. And the way that I start with that is to dream the absolute biggest dreams. And if any of you walk away from anything here, it's like make your dreams so big that people laugh at them. Say, I'm going to build a women's specific sports stadium. What is that? What is that? That was a dream once that somebody would have laughed at. Make a dream of saying the NWSL will be bigger than the NFL. Laugh at it. Laugh at it. Here on the recap show, we say, let's build a media empire that will be bigger than the likes of an ESPN. That's, laugh at it. Laugh at it. And you're seeing it here. You're hearing it here first. Laugh at it, because those are the dreams that we all are interested in creating and making collectively. And when I look out into this crowd, like, you are all dreamers because you are here today. So welcome to the recap show.
So I know many of you play soccer and love soccer. And, when we've been experiencing this world, this ecosystem, both as players and now as entrepreneurs, we've actually had everything expanded in the way that we see the business of women's sports. And yes, today we're here to celebrate the teams and the players. But the only reason we're able to do that is because of the incredible people that are actually often behind the scenes creating this and bringing this all to life.
So, you've heard of Barbara Benda. You've heard of Marta. You've even heard of Trinity Rodman. But the person that we are going to speak to today, you would actually not know any of those people if it wasn't for the person we are going to bring up today, and that is Andrea Brimmer.
Welcome, Andrea Brimmer.
Amazing. And she just said, "Who the hell is Andrea Brimmer?"
I'm sure that's what they're saying.
So Andrea is our incredible guest for this live edition of the Recap Show. She is the CMO of Ally. She is a visionary and a pioneer and one of the very first people to invest real money and real dreams and real time into women's sports. And her belief and her ability to do that has led the way for all of us. And she's changing the game, and we are so incredibly honored to have her as our guest today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's good to be here. Guys.
I feel like I need to
I like
come a
seeing
little
all the
closer.
allies on the sleeves out there,
Closer.
too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
I know, I
Looks
agree.
good on all the jerseys.
Almost as good as my Ree socks.
I see what you did there. 3 socks. Who else? Best socks ever,
Yeah,
right?
best socks ever.
Yeah. So on the recap, as if we have some reimaginers in the crowd, what you know is that when we talk about sports at the intersection of progress and equity. Yes, like, we love the players, we cheer for the players, but we won't have all of this. We don't have these stadiums with all the other infrastructure. So we cheer for all the avenues that are pushing this game forward, and we can't speak more highly of what Andrea has done, even like as a person. And I want to understand, and I want you to give to the crowd today how you had the belief. Because when we talk about pioneers and the dreams that, people have, that people laugh at, how you had the belief before anyone else to see this game and say, I believe in that.
Yeah, so for the folks that are in the crowd that probably don't know, we at Ally, not only are we the league sponsor for the NWSL and obviously on the sleeve of every kit, but about 3 years ago, we made a pledge that for every dollar we spend in men's sports, we would match dollar for dollar in women's sports.
Amazing.
And it's been incredible, not only in terms of sponsorships, but in terms of supporting the whole ecosystem around women's sports, like the media empire that Tobin and Christen are building. And I still remember when Tobin called and she was like, we don't have it all figured out, but would you guys invest? And we were like, yes. and the question, that you asked of, like, how do you see around those corners and how do you have that belief? I think a lot of it comes from the fact that I played my whole life. I played in college. I played at Michigan State. We're in the Sweet 16. Go Green! Beat Texas last night. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I know. We got this. And, you get, as a player, it creates so much sensibility and so much confidence and so many leadership skills, all the things that you hear. I was saying to Kristen in the car, there's nothing more terrifying than taking a PK when you're the last shot in a championship game. And those are the things that prepare you for a career in business. And I think just having this bravery and this vision to take chances comes from my athletic roots.
I love that. And I actually have the same kind of sense for myself in that, at all points in my life, I think I would have been characterized from the outside as a confident person. But the truth was, a lot of times I was that duck with my feet under the water, like really, really not sure if I belonged. And I say this a lot, but being in the locker room with the U.S. Women's National Team for over a decade, where you're surrounded by women that are unapologetic, that are brave, that are themselves, that are funny, that can be rude, it really changed. You like the rudeness? Rude. That are honest and authentic to themselves. It was the place that I became who I am today.
Yep.
So it was, taking hard penalties to then standing up and saying, hey, I believe that we can achieve equal pay. To being in a room where, women were not under the male gaze. And all of these things were so transformative and so beautiful. And I think that that's when, no matter what you're doing, if you're an athlete, if you're a recreational athlete, or wherever you are, can we find these safe pockets of space for us to be confident, to be leaders, and to be unapologetic?
Yeah, I mean, it's so relevant. In my experience at Michigan State, as a college student, you don't realize how you're going to draw on that. But what was really interesting is that I was actually on the first ever varsity women's team at Michigan State.
Wow.
And there were only 2 teams in the Big Ten, women's teams in the Big Ten, that had varsity teams. And that's when the Big Ten was literally 10 schools. It wasn't like 70 like it is now. And we would actually play exhibition matches against the other teams, the other women's teams in the Big Ten, and then we would work with their team to petition the athletic directors and the athletic boards for them to get their varsity status. And that, for me, was like the first time as a college kid learning this lesson about women coming together with other women to find their voice and to use it. And I think as I got into a place where I was sitting at a table where I could make decisions and write checks and saw what was happening in this women's sports ecosystem, that I really drew on those moments to say, let's have the same kind of bravery, let's do the same kinds of things, and let's move this game forward in really meaningful ways.
And it takes confidence to have an abundance mindset.
It does.
And that's what I'm hearing from you. Like, you had confidence in who you were and where you were, and you knew that we need each other. We need each other. And I think abundance mindset is something that everybody gets on the field, right? You understand that the team is going to be greater than any individual. And actually, Tobin, in a lot of ways, in the way that you played, you were a real facilitator and were able to kind of do the thing that was always required on the field to be able to make the team better than the sum of their parts. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a real big compliment. But I will say that it's not worth anything unless the team's successful. There's no amount of individual success that matters unless the team is successful. And I think that has always been the strength, of our sports culture, of what we experienced on the U.S. Women's National Team and the successful club teams that we've been a part of. And I think when you look at the 2 teams in the final, like, you can feel that in both these teams, the collectiveness that goes into getting into this final game. And you have to figure that out. That can take years. That can take seasons. I think everybody loves the Marta story. Like, we're talking about a team that has experience. Like, I mean, those Orlando fans, like, shout out to the Orlando fans. Let's go.
The original
The
Orlando fans.
OG Orlando fans. Like, that's what's up. That's fandom. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's commitment.
That is commitment. But, like, come on, it gives us, like, so much to cheer for, right? Like, sports is the one thing that is constantly evolving, and our part of it, in growing the business of women's sports is evolving just the same. And I would say, like, the one thing that we have to continue to do is continue the momentum, continue upping everything that we said we were going to do. And it's people like Andrea, it's people like yourself showing up here. This place is freaking packed. It is
awesome.
Packed. There are so many incredible people here that want to be here, that want to pour into the ecosystem of women's sports, and all of you are a part of it. So freaking buy the merch, cheer for the sports, have so much fun. I do have a call to action. Yeah, even for the people in the back that aren't listening. Let's go, women's sports. Love that. All right, so any closing remarks? Because everybody's not gonna pay attention after I say this.
Open an Ally bank account.
Whoa! Spoken like a great CMO. All right, what I want everyone to do is, because we are going to shatter the viewership numbers this game, because this is important for the growth of the NWSL. So what I want every single person to do is to text one person that you know will text another person, that will text another person, and you say, watch the NWSL Championship game, pass it on. Do it right now. Why are you looking at me? Go do it. And also, watch the recap show.
Thank you, everybody. Have
Thank
fun at
you.
the game.